Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we are going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit. They did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, folks, so you know the drill. Read that article, share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center ever decides to see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. Excuse me. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, an agape boarding school for boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, folks, please go ahead and make sure to utilize the headphones. Number 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they're watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised. I apologize for my appearance, but in my defense, this is how I go to work. 2 steps that way, right? I am too tired to put on makeup, put on my mask, and be the doll. So, apologies for the ugly mug. All right, folks. Also, warning, very obviously, allergies are kicking my ass. You may hear me sneeze, weird noises coming out of my throat, random stops, or me hacking half a lung up. This is an amateur channel at best. That's being kind. I don't know how to edit, and I don't got a whole lot of time to learn, so apologies for that, okay? All right, where we left off. Obviously, this is a long winded paragraph, so we are going to be busting it up, all right? Since the panel meeting, the FDA identified several studies of PBS in peer reviewed journals that include more subjects, systematically record AEs, and benefit from recent, not decades old knowledge. Shots fired! Shots fired! I appreciate the shade. Truly, I do. I appreciate the shade, FDA. That's the thing we were mentioning in the previous videos. Decades old work is not going to be given the same weight with what we know is current medical practice in regards to mental health, neurodivergence, and other disabilities. It's not because of bias, it's because medicine, when done right, evolves. It's just a fact. But let's read on, shall we? For example, a recent single meta analysis of PBS, which is positive behavioral reinforcement, why they call it PBS, I don't know, The FDA identified after the panel meeting synthesized information on 423 case reports, reference 8, whereas JSC has stated in a comment that it only applied its GED to 269 individuals since 1990. 269 people, folks. It's a small number, which is why I give it no weight, but those are 269 people that the JRC fucked their lives irreversibly. Bastards. The peer-reviewed data and information about PBS were published more recently and better reflect modern scientific advances and contemporary ethical standards of the profession. Again, shots fired. Shots fired. And I'm here for it, folks. I am really here for it because the JRC needs to hear it. Okay? Science, when done right, evolves as new facts become apparent. Medicine, when done right, evolves as new information, studies, and innovations come to light. All right? None of these things should be stagnant and stay the same. Okay? Particularly when we're talking about aversive therapy in the more physical form, which has the tendency to land us in hospitals. All right? I love the fact that they threw the shade using the word ethical. Because remember, when I've said multitude of times that the research institutes, college programs that have research departments, all of them have refused to do case studies in regards to the GED because it violates their ethical standards. Remember, these are coming from research programs who thought absolutely nothing about shooting radiation directly into autistic brains. That was Yale. I do have the receipts for that. In fact, that is one of the many links in the description box. I'm a receipt girl. When even Yale, who did that as recently as about a year and a half, 2 years ago, is telling you no, saying is all. The evidence also adheres to modern, more exacting peer review standards for study conduct and reporting. As science and medicine evolve, so do the standards also evolve with it to become more strenuous because people rely on those peer reviewed studies so that they can learn those new facts and integrate it into their medicine, into their science. Okay? Again, this is how this works. That case report that they had from 1990 did not go through the same level of strenuous reviews as the current studies do. That's just a fact. Recent studies also benefit from improvements in functional analysis and teaching adaptive or replacement behaviors that began in the mid 1980s. A full functional behavioral assessment that is basically it's the Bible, folks. That assessment is where all treatment programs should evolve from when done right. Back in 1990, what we know as the full functional behavioral assessment now wasn't as well known or as widely used as it is now. That became more prevalent during the late 1990s, early 2000s. which is about around the same time when I received mine. I believe I was at the end of my junior year in high school. And even at that time, it had evolved enough, become important enough that I wasn't even allowed to go in to even start talking about services and treatment programs until that full functional behavioral assessment had been done. That is the standard now. In the 1990s, it was not the standard. So, what are we going to give more weight? Those studies in which that assessment is paramount are the ones in which it was almost essentially the wild, wild west, folks. Which one would any reasonable professional give more weight? That is what the FDA is saying here. Let's finish up, shall we? Refinement and application of such knowledge increases the success of behavioral interventions. Furthermore, modern study designs that include more coded baseline and treatment data points correlate with clearer demonstrations of treatment effects. In other words, when you get a full functional behavioral assessment done and you develop a program based on that full functional behavioral assessment and the information that was gathered during it, you can get a better idea of what treatment plans and programs work and which ones don't. And you can get that wonderful thing called data off of that. Isn't it amazing? Amazing, right? Crazy talk. My full functional behavioral assessment determined that the best route for me to go was through the very new, at the time, person centered planning route. And very obviously, it worked. And it's still working because you never get off the program, folks. It just evolves as you get older. But you see what the FDA is seeing here, right? They couldn't make it more crystal clear here than if they tried. This is why it kills me where they can be this crystal clear here, but still at the end of the day refuse to name the device in question. The only place where they do is right here in a response. Where it needed to be named is in regards to why we were all gathered from 2014 to 2016 in the first place. They shot themselves in the foot. Means all this work and all these true facts they're spitting here means bupkis right now. We're going to close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to utilize those comments. I do appreciate your time this afternoon. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. We'll see you next time. Bye bye, everyone.